Now, once you've created your site in WordPress and you've launched it, chances are you're going to want to track exactly what's going on that website. Things like your visitors, the different devices they're using to view your site, the popular content, those kinds of things. Now, traditionally, you probably would just go and install Google Analytics, forget about it, and let that start gathering all the data. The problem with that is, well, there are several problems with that. One, there's so much information in there's probably overkill for so many different use cases. If you need that data, it's probably still a great option. But for most users, it's just too much. The second thing is you may want to stay on the side of GDPR compliance and not have to worry about data being sent from your website to US servers and so on. And there's lots of other reasons why you may not want to go down that route. Today, we're going to go back and take another look at independent analytics. Now, I covered this over a year ago, and I've been using it on multiple sites myself ever since then with great effect. Now, before we go any further with this, I do want to say I am only going to cover the free version of this. So you'll have exactly the same as you see here if you test this out for yourself. So all we're going to do is go and install this, get it set up, and then we're going to start taking a look at the information. And finally, we'll go and take a look at what the Pro version offers if you want to upgrade to it, and also some of the settings we have to tweak the way that the analytics actually work with our website. So once installed, you're going to have a new panel inside your dashboard, unless of course you disable this, that'll show you an overview of the data for the last 30 days. Now obviously, once you install this on a fresh site, you're not going to see any data, but as people visit your site, as you start to do things, this will start to populate with data. So it's great you get a nice overview when you log in. But let's dig into some of the more options that are available. Go to the Analytics tab and open up our Analytics. This is the view that you're going to get. Let's just minimize this a little bit. Let's expand this out so we can see what's going on. Okay, so this will give you an overview, typically for the last 30 days, but you can easily change that to various different periods, including custom. So let's say the last 90 days, apply those dates, and you'll see that now updates and shows us the information again in real time. And the nice thing with this is you can get real-time data. You can also change this over from weekly to daily, hourly, monthly, whatever you kind of want to do. So however granular you need that data, you can get access to it. You can also directly download reports from inside this preview section. So if you come in here, you can download a CSV or a PDF. Simple case of just clicking on it. That will create that, download it, and you'll have access to it. So this is what you'll see in your PDF. You can see it, same views we've just seen, but as we go through, you'll see we get more data breaking down the most popular pages, content, where they come from, the bounce rate, view duration, and so on during that period of time. So if you want to send this over to clients, you can easily generate that in a matter of seconds and send the information over to them. It's very, very easy to do. Now, once you've seen this, let's scroll down a little bit. You can see we've got the same kind of graph. We can enable visitors, sessions, bounce rate, view sessions, average session duration, so we can pull up lots of data on here and do comparisons and things. So if you want to do no comparison, you simply want to see that basic data, you can do that. Again, we can switch this over between daily, hourly, weekly, monthly, whatever kind of period you want. Up to you how you work with this. All pretty cool. You can then come down and you've got information then about the different content on your site. So you can see this is currently showing the most popular content. So this will show us in that 90-day period, in this example, how many visitors, how many views, the duration, bounce rate, the actual link itself, the type of content. You can also customize these so you can easily show or hide the information that you actually want to see. So you may say you want to see entrances and exits. You want to see the visitor growth, the view growth. You can simply add all that information in, and you can see now we get updated info directly on here. And if you do a download report, it will download the data you see here. So it's very simple to do. Okay, so that's pretty cool. You can also choose to add custom filters inside here. So you can add a filter, and you can see you want to include, choose a column. All our columns are included there. So we can say, for example, entrances, greater than, and then you can drop a value in, or you can change this less than, and you can build up complex conditions on you to show exactly what data you need. So you're not limited to just this plain old view you can see here. You can create as complex and comprehensive filters as you need. Then tie those into the options here. You can easily build up quite powerful reports. Okay, so that's how we do this. And then you can save this if you want to and create your own custom layout reports and things. And then you can add those in here, which is pretty cool. Now, if we take a look at the left-hand side, there's already some pre-created ones here. And again, you can see you've got the plus, so you can add your own in if you want to. You can click and you can add this in, and you can see there's our new report. So that's been added into our pages section. Pretty cool. If you want to get rid of it, simply just hit the delete, or you can make it as the default, save as, save. It's up to you how you want to work with this. So let's just delete that, say delete that report, and it's gone. Okay, so what else do we have? So these pre-built ones, we can just check out blog posts. And this will only show us now blog posts on that period of time. Top landing pages. Again, you can see we can find out which are our top pages. Again, this is now in 30 days, but you can apply those filters, change the date range, change the columns that are actually displayed. All that information is easily editable and then savable, if that's even a word. So you can see lots of info included there. Your fastest growing pages, so you can see over the last 30 days which pages have been the fastest growing. We can see this one, Learn Dynamic Data in WordPress with Bricks Builder, has grown by 206%. Pretty cool. Then once you're happy with that sort of information about that, you can see, well, where's my traffic actually coming from? So let's take a look at the search engine traffic. So again, we can scroll down and we can see, okay, Google is the first one. It's bringing in just under 3,000 visitors with an average view duration of 5 minutes 40 seconds. Pretty cool. Any social media traffic coming in? So we can see if we can generate traffic from Facebook or Twitter, those kinds of things. Your fastest growing referrers, which is actually generating the most traffic. So if you're doing things like advertising campaigns, or you're doing a heavy campaign on Twitter or X or Facebook or something like that, you can see how popular, how successful that actually is by checking out the data inside here, checking your date range and so on. And you can see there's our filter in this example. We can open this up, and this is excluding visitors less than 5. So anything that has 5 or fewer visitors won't be displayed on here. So we can just control what data is displayed. Then you can see, well, geographically, where are people coming from? Let's take a look at European countries. Where's my biggest traffic? As we can see, this is going to give us an easy way of tracking that data. So we can see how many people come from the UK, how many people from Germany, from Italy, from Spain and France, right the way up to Russia and all the other parts of the world. Which cities, if we want to get down even closer, we can take a look at what the most popular cities are. So in Germany, we've got Frankfurt, from UK, London. Now, obviously, there's going to be limitations to this because this is going to be based upon the IP address of the sort of ISP, the service provider. So it's not going to be 100% accurate, but that's kind of a limitation of any kind of data you're going to get. IP ranges are going to be one of the key influencing factors for that. Create a new report if you want to. Find out which are the most popular devices. So if you are creating content, you're thinking, do I need to cater heavily for mobile devices? Is that the kind of key thing coming from? Well, you can check, I think, your operating systems, your browsers and so on. So we can see most of my traffic is coming from Windows or Mac. Smaller amounts then on Android and iOS. So for me, it helps me make sure that I optimize my content for the largest, broadest user base. In this example, Windows and Mac. And then when we take a look at mobile devices, I can make a decision saying, well, that's not as important in this example. So I can build things and create things the way that I need to make sure I cater to my audience. Same thing goes then for your browsers, which are the most popular browsers. In this example, we can see Chrome is the most popular, followed by Safari, Firefox, and so on. So these help you create these sort of data sets that you can easily see exactly what's going on and get a lot more granular with it. Now, there's loads more you can do. There's some pro features here for campaigns and real-time data, but we're not using those in this example. But if you do want to use things like UTM parameters and so on, then the pro version is what you're going to need to take a look at doing. So if you do a lot of heavy marketing through video, through newsletters, through email marketing, things like that, and using UTM parameters, it's going to be useful to have that data inside your analytics software. Now, if you're getting value from this video and you'd like to be notified as new content is released every single week, simply hit the subscribe button down below and YouTube will let you know. Anyway, let's get on with the video. So now we've seen how the analytics and everything works. Let's take a look at how we can configure information inside the settings section. Now, there's not a lot here, but there's some useful things that I think are worthwhile taking a look at. So first of all, you've got your basic settings, so you can enable your dark and your light mode. More important are things like tracking logged in users, so you may not want to track users that are logged in. You can also disable things like the admin bar, that disable the widget we saw on the home, the sort of the home of the dashboard and so on. You can also enable or disable a views column inside the post section. So this will show at a glance how many views have been seen on any of the posts or pages and so on. That's quite useful. And then things like, what's your first day of the week? You can also choose to ignore IP addresses. You can ignore user roles. So if you have lots of admins and editors and so on, you don't want to track anything to do with them, well, simply add them inside here and then just hide their user roles. It's simple as that. They don't then get tracked. Then we've got user permissions, which is who can access and what can they access when it comes to the analytics. Now you can see this is breaking it down into the various different user roles that we have. And if we open these up, we've got several different options here for what they can and can't see and what they can do. Now this is useful, but I would like to see the ability to be able to control individual users regardless of their user role. You may say all editors have they can view the analytics, but you may want to let specific ones not only view it, but edit it as well. Now, one of the key things here that's useful is you can see view analytics for authored content. So this is, you can limit what the actual logged in user, if they're an editor, an author, and so on, and they add content, you can only let them see their own content and not everybody else's, which can be quite useful if you want them to be able to come in and track and be able to maintain and monitor what's going on with their content. That can be super useful as well. So again, really useful. You can also white label this for non-admins if you want to. Then we've got a public view counter. Now, don't worry, this isn't like the old 2000s where you had the little animated counter at the bottom of your page. It's not like that. What this allows you to do is put a counter at the bottom of your posts, your pages, and so on, specific to that content. So, for example, let's say on the post, let's say we'll enable this, and we'll enable the posts, and then you can customize it. Do you want to show it in this location before, after the content, before and after the content, the date range? So then you can set up the time range you want on here from all time through to, simply today. You can exclude specific pages if you want to. You can customize the label that will show alongside the data, and you can customize the icon, or you can just remove them completely. So there's some useful information here. Let's say save the settings. And now if we hop over to the site and take a look at a post, you'll see when we scroll down to the bottom in this example, we have this article has been viewed 10,210 times. So you can add that in to kind of give some social sort of proof to the content that you're creating, that so many people have actually viewed it and found it useful. You get the idea. Up to you if this is something you would want to include, but it's there should you want to. So before I wrap this up, let's take a quick look at what you get in the free version and what you get in the pro version should you need those additional features. Link to this in the description down below so you can check this out for yourself and spend a bit more time. But as you can see, we've got the dashboard. It's privacy friendly, so it's GDPR compliant. Made specifically for WordPress, referral reports, geographic data, device data, save reports, and it's easy setup. We've seen all of that. And hopefully what you've seen is it is easy. But then you've also got things like campaign links, real-time analytics, WooCommerce analytics, form tracking, and email reports. So if you are looking for any of these key features, then you can take a look at the Pro version, which will give you all of these. Like I say, if you're doing marketing campaigns, things like that, then UTM tracking is incredibly useful. This is where your campaign links come in. If you want to be up to the minute with everybody that's on your site right now and keeping track of all that data, this can be incredibly useful if you're doing a launch, doing an advertising campaign. You're doing something, you want to see how much traffic is being generated and pushed to it, then your real-time analytics is going to be super useful. WooCommerce analytics, if you're selling online, then that's going to be very useful if you use WooCommerce. And form tracking allows you to track submission data from various different form types. We'll take a look at what ones are available. And then finally, you've got your email report. So you can have an automated email report sent over. Great if you've got this set up and you're working with clients and part of your maintenance packages, you want to send them information. If you're doing SEO, you're doing marketing, things like that for people, for your clients, you can send them data to show exactly what's going on. Now let's take a quick look at that form tracking a second. So you can see it integrates with 17 different form plugins. And as you can see, these are the forms that are currently supported. So pretty much all the popular ones are here, including what I like to see is supporting Elementor Pro, but also you can see Bricks Builder integration. So Bricks Builder form tracking isn't fully automated like the other plugins and requires a few additional steps, but it is supported. So that's important. But as you can see, it shows you can count the submissions for every form on your site, which is nice to see. It's not just like a bulk everything. So you can track that information. You can monitor conversion rates for all of your forms. Find your top sources for new leads, check submissions and conversion rates for every campaign, visualize performance of your forms in a chart. You kind of get the idea. If you use forms on your site and you want to track that data, you can do that with a pro version of independent analytics. Anyway, that's what I wanted to go over. For me personally, this is the tool that I've been using now for the last year plus, and I have no reason to want to change at this point in time. It's doing everything that I need, helps me track what I need to track, find out what information I need to find out from the easy ways in which I can set up reports, I can set up filters and so on. Everything I need is there. Any downsides? Only some of the little things that I've talked about that I would like to see. Not downsides, just little things I would think would make it even better than what it already is. But as always, I welcome your feedback. Let me have your comments down below. Have you tried it? Did you like it? Would this help you make a decision to move over from some other tools over to independent analytics? Let me have your feedback down below in the comment section. As always, all applicable links are in the description. We'll find out more about independent analytics in my initial video. You can check that out here. My name is Paul C. This is WPTuts. Until next time, take care.